Hey everyone, this is Roberto Amadeo Martocci. Welcome to PEPTALKZ, the Ministry of the Diamond Light's Personal Empowerment Podcast. What we do here is, it's really a place where we bring unique perspectives on spirituality, on mysticism, on spiritualism, ancient wisdom, and sacred knowledge, and how we can apply these things in a practical way to enhance our lives. So this evening, I'd like to bring to you a very special guest with a very unique perspective in the science of psychic work, and let him share with us his many years of research and experience in bioenergy informatics, which I will have him explain, and how he's able to gain insight into the state of a person's bioenergy system with a rare technology that can demonstrate how information in the bioenergy field can determine how our environment impacts our physical health. So before our conversation begins, I wish to tell you a little bit more about Volodymyr, who's our special guest, Volodymyr Karnaukh. So he was born in Ukraine and is a psychic scientist, like I said. He has a master's degree in psychology. He's a certified professional in an advanced bioenergy diagnostic technology named Crystal. He is also a psychic, a medium, and a trance channel. Oh, and also he's an expert intuitive oracle tarot reader. So he uses both science and his empathic, intuitive, psychic mediumship side in tandem together to work with people, advise people, to help them in their healing process, and to help them understand what's going on within them. So he's worked with thousands of clients from all around the world and is now a citizen of the United States, and bringing his extensive research and unique skills with him. He also happens to speak 3 languages fluently, Ukrainian, because he's from Ukraine, Russian, and English, and he works in all 3 of these languages seamlessly. Oh, and by the way, he's also an integral part of the work we do here at Ministry of the Diamond Light, where we bring science, technology, mysticism together for personal empowerment and, of course, healing. So thank you, Volodymyr, for being here with us today. Is there anything before we begin you'd like to say?
Hello, Roberto. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Roberto, for inviting me for your podcast. It's a big honor. And let's start with our conversation, and I will explain what does psychic science mean and how important it in healing and our spiritual growth.
Yes, thank you. And thank you so much for taking the time to be here and explain this, because I know all about your work because we work together. However, I would be less likely to explain it well enough for people to really understand where you're coming from. So my first question is, you're a psychic scientist and a psychic medium. So how did you actually get into this work? Was it something you were born with? Is something that you had to be taught?
So when I was a small kid, I started to create my first altar. I didn't actually know what I was doing because I just was doing it like intuitively. And I felt myself very different from the kids because I had a completely different interests. So I was very into crystals, into herbs, into some kind of I was very always close to nature. That's what I would say. And I was able to feel the energies, but I wasn't aware about that until this certain time. And I just started to learn about the world from my inner feeling that I was getting from the all the environment near me, and I was very attracted to the certain type of books. So uh, mostly it started when I was very strongly it started when I was like 8 or 9 years old. I was able to feel the energies from the books with a certain knowledge that I wanted to gain.
So how does that like how was that? Like you said you felt in some way the books. Were they calling to you? Did you just see them on the shelf, or did you have some kind of guidance that led you there? Like how did that work for you?
I was going to the certain shops and I was basically feeling the energies from the certain books. So I was like basically attracted to them. And I started to collect my library about first it was astrology and magic. And then it was more advanced about the bioenergy and aura. I was very interested in this topic, and probably I was remembering something from my past life in that moment about the auras. And I found a magazine at my grandfather's library. It was called Science and Life. Yes, and this magazine had an article about the Kirlian, effect Kirlian, about aura photography that was developed in Russia by Simeon Kirlian first time, and that actually demonstrate us the one of the etheric fields.
So before that, well, okay, probably not. Before that, you never heard of it,
I
but
never heard of it. Yes.
um, but like you were saying, like it would age 8 or 9 is very young. So it's like you started your research as a kid. So you've
Yes.
always kind of a scientist, searching for answers and just kind of following your gut, I'll call it, your intuition. Um,
Yes.
the books were calling to you energetically, and you just went with it. So you
And
knew.
I wanted to educate myself also, because those interests, they were like totally different. And when the kids were playing different toys, I wasn't into that, I was in a completely different world. And this world started to open for me even stronger because I took my first regular playing cards deck in the hands, and I felt it like it was a very powerful instrument to like focus on myself on that and get some information for the people. So
So you're saying, you're talking about the past lives again, and I wanted to address that because um, it seems like what you're saying, and I've experienced myself. It's like you, as a kid, I had similar, very different experiences, but a similar path as a very young kid of like actually 5 years old. I was very aware, um, but it's it's like you carried your past lives, information from your past lives with you. So would you say that when a book called to you or some research, like you were pointed in a direction and you saw it, it was like you were remembering?
I believe that we come into this world with a mission. All of us are on this planet to do something important. Uh, I would say even like we should follow our own way to the individual harmony. I think that's what was the calling and psychic work, energy healing work, and mediumship or channeling. It's one of the highest levels of the spiritual work, on this planet because it's basically can help to people find their own paths and follow their paths, and that's very important, very important.
Okay, well, you know, for me, it just feels really important. Like what you're saying, it's like mediums, someone that channels, like people that are in magical practice or shamans, like all of this high um, frequency, I'll call it, work. Like what do you think the purpose of it? It's like, is it for me? It feels like it's like help shepherding other people in their own awakening for their own empowerment. So, what's your take on that?
I think that there is a divine creator, and we always been guided by the divine creator through the healers that work with the through the mediumship with the ancestors and spirit guides, angels, different deities, and also ascended masters. And it's very important to for psychic to develop your own skills, and what I would say that it's also very important that the psychic will learn more about himself, and what is one of the most serious ways to learn. It's a science. So that was my calling, to bring the science into the spirituality.
That's one. That's that's wonderful. I'm I'm a fan of your work, so I've experienced your readings. I've experienced the bioenergy diagnostic testing, and um, it's really like, to me, I'm all about evidence. And one of my mentors is always like, always bring the receipts. You gotta, belief is something that you have to, I feel you have to experience things for yourself, understand things before you can act yourself, before you can actually believe them. And I think it's important work that you're doing by showing people what they can't see, so that it's not just, oh well, there's a channel or a medium or a psychic that's advising me and all the information lines up, and it's really helpful, but it's kind of also like, where's the proof? So I feel like evidence, I feel like, and I experienced that in your readings, you give a lot of evidence.
And the practical results also, because when I bring the messages to my clients and the people who needs the healing, it's most of the time can be life-changing moment.
Yeah. So you said something before, you were talking about psychics and then ascended masters and other things. So I kind of wanted to make a little bit of a distinction with it's like psychic work is a certain type of informational work. I'll say that. And mediumship is, I guess, informational work too, but you're connecting to a higher level or a higher frequency, and you're either a channel for that spirit, or that, you were saying, angels, guides, um, ascended masters. So, a medium usually is also does psychic work and is a psychic, but people that do psychic work aren't necessarily called to be mediums. And I think, like, that's something that always needs to, I guess, to let people know. So tell me, like, share your perspective on that, because people talk about this a lot.
So with my perspective, that we all have the sixth sense, and also more higher senses. And I would say intuition, probably a sixth sense, and other senses that we call the psychic work, and mediumship. The psychic work, we all are born with that kind of ability.
Like your intuition you're talking about.
Yes, I believe that there are some mediums that they are psychics, that they are sent to this planet with their specific mission. And a lot of psychics, they get information from their client. they can get information about the past events, and also they can predict and prognose certain events in the future. But when you work as a medium, you connect to the, I would say, the deceased parents, and also the spirits that lived here in old ages, and you can work with different spirits. But when you work as a medium or a channeler, even the channeler, you are even in on a higher level. Basically, here you are instrument of the divine creator will. So it's also so I see like there are different levels, and I think that there are different levels, and from my experience, and the all healers and the psychics, they are very important on this planet. And as more we know about this science of the psychics and intuitive and mediumship and channeling, as more we will bring clarity, and evidence, and we will be able to show to the people that it's very important, and it's one of the oldest science in general, like the magic.
In ancient, very, very ancient times, like even before Egypt, and I'm studying with someone right now about Samaria. It's like that was always there, and somewhere the information got drowned out. I'll call it that. I'll be kind about it. Um, and I think that, like I was saying, this work is really important, because it's helping people open back up to that, and all the programming of this is hoo-ha, I'll say, this is BS, gets programmed into people, and then they stop believing that it's a possibility. So I think this work shows the evidence and makes people remember, like, who they really are and what their power is, even if it's just your intuition helping you in your life, or if you were called, your mission is to be an advisor and a medium and a guide. So you were talking about the um, like psychic tuning into the client themselves. Did you mean their bioenergy field and the information that's in there? You're tuning directly
Yes,
to them?
they have the ability to feel the energies. I would say it's microlepton waves. It was a research by the scientist, very serious scientist, that I am actually doing research right now on his work. So he did a research, and he investigated that there are different types of waves, like the heat wave, the light wave, that everything has the wave structure, like the sound frequency, basically. And that's all can transmit the molecules of spirit, the microleptons. So
So he's saying,
psychic
oh,
is
go ahead, I'm
tuning,
sorry.
yes, psychic is tuning into the uh, person's field, and getting this information, those microleptons, and basically it's like the mirror that you can see the past events and the person's qualities, and it's all in our aura. Basically,
Okay.
this aura is created by those microleptons.
Okay, so like just to like kind of summarize for people, um, are you saying in a way that a person, like, the spiritual molecules, which you're calling microleptons, which
Yes.
the scientist is able to measure and visibly see with technology, um, is a frequency that
They are in
is
the
transmitting the information that's in a person's bioenergy field, and we're doing that to each other. So we're transmitting and receiving, and certain people that train and have trained or are open to this kind of work can actually perceive this
Yes,
information.
Roberto, you're absolutely right. That's how it is.
Okay, so that's the nature. That's like kind of like a scientific way of,
Yes.
describing the nature of psychic work.
It's molecules of the spirit. So that's very, very unique information that I received by channeling. So I was able to found this one of the technologies that I'm using in my practice also through the channeling. Like there's psychic research of the scientist on this topic about the molecules of the spirit. I also got through channeling.
Okay, that's like I never thought of it that way. So I'm glad we're having this conversation, because as they're listening, it's like we're discovering, or I'm discovering as well. Um, so what I also wanted to ask and talk about was, with that being the case, and you have this technology called crystal. Um, can you explain that a little bit to everybody? You know what it actually is doing, and how it's able to, I don't even know what the word is, but diagnose or sense, like the technology is reading this information that's on the frequency that's in somebody's field. So how is this technology doing that?
So this is unique technology named Crystal because it shows a different facets of the person on a different levels, on a physiological level, on the level of the energy and information. So this technology was developed by a very talented scientist, Alexander Strelnikov. Basically, this technology using specific device that taking the measurements of the certain bioactive points on the hand, and it's analyzing the flow of the energy in your whole energy meridian system, how it's connected to the main energy centers. We also can name them chakras. And we basically can see how our centers are working, in what kind of state they are. Are they in balance or in disharmony? And are there any like blockages on them? So each energy center creates a certain frequency, and those frequencies we also can, um, I would say, uh, decode or transcode, I don't know the right word for that, into the certain notes. And we are able to listen to the music of the spirit because our aura, it's a part of our spiritual plane, I would say, individual spiritual plane. So we can hear the music of our spirit. That's very unique, and it's first technology that ever been developed.
Wow.
And
So
also, and
go
also
ahead.
this technology shows in 3D model bioenergy field, the matrix field of the our aura. For each energy center creates the certain frequency that also transferred into the color. And when all colors are mixing together, they create this specific color of the aura.
So it also gives a representation of like the energy centers separately, as well as a composite of
Yes,
what it looks like for
yes.
all. And I've seen the I've seen that you've tested me. I've seen the technology. We work with this technology. So um, I wanted you to talk just a little bit about you call it a deformation in the energy field based on certain blockages. And like, can you kind of explain like what environmental things would cause that in a person's life and what they're experiencing on a mental level, emotional level, etc., and how this technology is able to show this and what it tells you. It's diagnosing.
So this technology created, um, basically it's focusing the person on a way of individual harmony, to follow the individual harmony. And I think that all the events in life, they happen for the reason. And when we get in the influence with a certain type of information that affect us, creating the stress and creating the blockages in different zones or in our bioenergy field, it's some kind of lessons that we are getting, that we need to go through those kind of situations and to get the life lesson from that. And when you work with a medium or with a healer or with a psychic, and then they can also help to clear those blockages. They can help bringing you the important information, and this information can be can clear the blockages, because this is the one of the highest levels of the work. It's not just energy healing, it's a healing with information that comes from the divine, from the astral plane, from the spirit. So and we also can test the person again, and to see how the bioenergy field changed, and how the healing procedure helped the person. So
Yes.
that's a very unique.
Yeah, I love that about it. Like, you have the before and after. So, intuitively, I or you, we would tune in, and or a healer would tune in, and the just so, people might not know like some of the terminology that we're using. A lot of people know what chakras are, but they might not understand that because it's not talked about that much. That in Chinese medicine, you have a meridian system, and there's points on your hand, there's points all over your body, but you're like reading the energy, the quality and the quantity of the energy that's at these points. It's running through your meridian system, and your meridians in certain combinations like bundle at like your heart.
So
So it's almost
what's
like an energetic nervous system, and that becomes a chakra. That's like what a chakra is.
what's interesting, that actually Kirlian technology that I mentioned was able to show those kind of energy channels that they were going through the skin in a certain zones, and those bioactive points that been known for centuries,
Yeah, so it's not as it's not a new thing, but the technology is actually really
very new.
advanced at
Very,
at um, at basically reading that information.
yeah.
That's a system that you know that you wouldn't normally see, like in the Kirlian photography. You see a light emitting from the points, from these points in the hands. I think that's what you were referring to.
Yes, yes.
You showed me that. You showed me that once. What else was I going to ask you about this? Because um, it's a lot. So I think that um, I think like things are evolving. Like things are evolving. Like there's the unseen, the esoteric, the mystical, the healers. That way, you're saying psychics, mediums. They work in a certain way, but they're actually kind of working similarly to like what this technology can actually pick up. So like for instance, like I mean, to be practical, it's like what you were saying about the people, bringing the information to people. So there's blockages, and you're bringing this information as a psychic, as a
Medium.
psychotherapist, as whatever modality of healing, you know, it's like there's something's blocked there, like an emotion, a trauma is something is there in the energetic field. And when you have this kind of advising or tuning in, and this information is brought to your awareness, it's not in your subconscious anymore, like hidden, it's brought to your awareness, that's what allows you to actually clear that blockage and energy. And the technology, when you do the after, it shows you what was blocked, and what was, after what was relieved or what was released. And then what, people process things differently. It allows the person to process this information. And then that's like a big important part of the healing.
Also through the message, when the medium or channel bringing the message, he's bringing also the certain kind of frequency through his voice. And I experienced as one of my mentors, she was speaking ancient languages. So it's very unique, and it might also be helpful in a healing process. So that's very incredible that we can use also the sound and wave and the healing of the sound to bring those messages from the spirit plane that we actually can decode, because every sound, every healing sound from the crystal balls is also bringing certain message for our body, for our chakras, but on a language of the frequency, because it's also the language.
Yes, and your body, whether you're conscious of it or not, your body is harmonizing with that and responding to that. And that's what, crystal sound bowls they can be very healing, relaxing, relieve stress. Like, it helps in meditations and journeys, and it helps with healing. It helps people get out of their mind, thinking mind, into a different brain state, so that then they can release more and become aware of more and process more. um, so yeah, I very much enjoy speaking with you about this. um, there's we talked a lot about this stuff, but I want to kind of connect back to you, um, and the other things you do with the oracle readings and the mediumship. And I know we were explaining the process of how you know the information and psychic work and where it all comes from, and spirit and all of that. um, but we really didn't talk that much about how you actually, like, you can how you personally, because different mediums or psychics do things differently. How do you process, how do you receive the information? And then, like, what is basically, like, what's your process, and what does your oracle tarot readings or mediumship readings or sessions, I'll call them, are like, how does it work for you?
So for me, it's very important to connect to the energy of the person. So first I work as a psychic. So I start to get the feeling of the energy of the person. And this energy is bringing me the information. So this information is also the microleptons that I explained before. This information can get stronger if I use different tools. So a lot of psychics and mediums, they use different tools as an anchor. So for example, I have these oracle cards. So they work as an anchor. When you use the cards, you bring in the message from the spirit to your client. And when the person actually see the message, like for example, clairsentience. When the client see the message, the connection between me, the client, and the spirit becomes stronger. And this mediumship goes on a much higher level. And the link become more stable. So also the client allows himself to experience the healing from the spirits through me. So difference between the psychics and the mediums, as I explained before, the psychics, they getting the information from the client, but they not always working with the spirit.
Okay, so there's two things going on there for you. So you're working with the cards and you're getting information, you're saying, from spirit as well through the cards. The cards acts as an anchor
Yes.
for between you and you,
Uh,
spirit, and the client.
And they also hold the molecules of the spirit. What is the object that holds molecule of the spirit? It's magic object. That's what it becomes after many years of work with the oracle decks.
So they get charged.
Yes, let's say they get
Well, that's
charged.
my way of
Yes.
simplifying it, for people. Um, it's like that information is coming through from spirit and that energy, and through the reading and through you, and its connection to
And
the
also,
goes in the cards.
yes, also when I'm feeling, sensing, I can also get the visuals of the certain events in life of the person. I can, if I'm putting myself more deeper into the trance state of mind, I can also visualize. I can see visuals of the different life events or people. I actually developed those abilities, and I didn't have them in such a strong way before as I have them now.
I see. So, um, that just reminds me. It's like it's always an ongoing process, and that's what I love about you. It's like you always research, you always move forward, you always think about, you rethink, you
True.
prove to yourself, you make connections, and you evolve in your work. Um, and I think that's really important for all people that are medium psychics or doing any work like this. Is you never just arrive. You don't arrive there and then you're done. It's like you have to continually do the work and study and do your practices and your spiritual practices so that you can stay in those energies. You have to condition your body to be able to hold those energies without getting exhausted. Um, so yeah, self-care is really important as well as a psychic and a medium. Um, so
So I use those tools. I use card decks. I try to use a different like oracle systems. Some people use the bones or the stones.
the
Uh,
ruins,
or runes, yes.
runes,
Yes, but the most I think
coffee
you,
grinds, like they do different.
as you develop yourself, you can also create your own deck or your own tool, with experience, and it will work with you like on a very high level, because it will have your own, way to do a reading and bring the information.
Yeah, and something just popped in. So, it must be my guidance saying it's like I do I do all of this spiritual work too. I do readings. I'm a medium and channel, and I do this work as well. And it's just it's I would say it's like it comes more freely and easily to me now, but I feel like it's you know just as a person, being a medium and all of that. It's like, and you're talking to spirit. It's like you have to pull yourself and your mind and your ego and like everything out so that spirit can speak more clearly through you. The message is not yours. You're just in between. You're just, the messenger. And I feel like what was I gonna say? I really I'll get it. I promise. Um, yeah, it's gone. If it's meant to come back, it will come back. But from what I was saying, like, what do you have to say about that? If you can understand any of what I just said.
Um, I think that if you allow yourself to trust the spirit,
Yes.
to trust yourself, it's very important to
Yeah,
trust the spirit first.
that's what I was getting at. Now you just reminded me. It takes
Because
takes so much trust and belief because you don't know what the message is before the person comes necessarily. Um, Sometimes you can tune in and before, but it's like you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to happen. So I wanted to talk to you about that as working medium tarot like reader and from your experience, like sometimes the messages are harder to get than others depending on the person that you're sitting for. So what's some of the reasoning for that? Because this is for people that receive readings, but it's also for people that work psychically and stuff like that might get a little bit down when they just, oh, that was a crap reading. It's like I wasn't getting much, or I was getting little things, but I just couldn't get a clear thing, and that you might
successful.
stop trusting
Mhm.
as trusting because you never know like what you're gonna get, how much you're gonna get.
So one of the reasons why it's hard sometimes to work with a certain people, in my own perspective, it looks that when you work with a spirit, it's very important that it should be uh, work of the spirit, work of the medium, and work of the client. Only this brings success in a healing. So when the medium bring the message, and certain people they don't want to leave their comfort zone, they don't want to change something in their life.
They're not
Or
ready.
not
They're not ready to hear the message.
yes, yes. And when you just start, they already feel the energy of the message. They may be not yet aware about the message, but through the vibration of the voice, they already hear it. And they just refuse to accept this message.
Yeah, and when you say that, it's like
Something bigger.
I feel like you're also saying it's like it could be a subconscious thing that's going on as well. It's not like, you know, people just like, oh, I don't want to hear that. I don't like what you just said.
They
It's
not
more,
allowing, they not allowing themselves to receive
oh,
the healing for the different reasons. They can be blocked. They can have they just their own will, like don't
they want to hear what they want to hear versus what they might need to hear.
what they need to hear. Yes,
Yeah, I mean, this is why I think like evidence is really important because skepticism, which every
helps with trust.
yeah,
Evidence helps with trust.
yes, and skepticism, like healthy skepticism, it should be a part of the whole process.
Yes.
Okay, you shouldn't just take everything at face value. Um, you need some evidence that shows you that this message is coming from my grandmother because the person that's doing the reading for me has given me evidence. They don't know me, they don't know anything about me, and they told me the color of my grandmother's dress that she always wore, and she never wore any other color. It's like, how would somebody know that? Or something extremely personal, um, in their personal connection with that person comes up. It could be, an item, that was hold dear. It could have been a gift. It could have been something. So as you build that evidence, then the reading can, then the person can settle in and then be like, okay, I can be more open to this reading because I can trust, because I'm getting all of this evidence that this message is coming from the place I think it's coming from. And I wanted to, on that, I wanted to talk about the Arthur Findlay College. It's a college in England. They've been doing this for centuries. I don't know. They've been doing it for a very long time. It's a very big institution in England, where they train some of the leading, well-known mediums, psychics, and channels, and different things. And in the English, it's spiritualist. It's like a spiritualist church, which basically spiritualism is everything we're talking about. It's like mediumship, psychic work, magic, shamanism, magic, quantum physics, really. It's like channeling energies of the elements of different things, getting information from higher frequencies, like speaking with that information. That's spiritualism. And spiritualists are very much about providing evidence to themselves as well as the people that they work with. So, I was there. You were at the Arthur Findlay College for this intensive evidential mediumship, program. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because of the evidence. We were with a lot of people. There was a lot of evidence, that comes up to build that trust, so that then the healing can happen. The people, that's what it's all for. It's all for healing. Spiritualists, they also do energy healing work. So, the ministry of the Diamond Light is we're a lot of things, because that's more of an old school way of looking at mediumship and this kind of work, like very evidence based. They unless somebody is modifying it, they don't usually talk about like guides. It's all about loved ones in spirit, and they validate the existence of guides and masters and angels and all of that other stuff. They just in that older spiritualist perspective, they don't work with those, or they don't talk about working with those. I believe they do work with those also, because we've met so many mediums and work with them there. So what the Ministry of the Diamond Light does, it's like a newer approach. It's a more modern approach, where we include all those other things and all the other, you're able to have your belief system, your spiritual belief system, and follow your own path. But we provide like a way of understanding how to get there through mystical work, through energy work, diagnostic. So when we were there, I want to talk about this because I witnessed this. It's kind of like a powerful place to be, because of all you were talking about, the energy of spirit. So much spirit was called and called and called and called and called in there in the instruction, and the communities come there to receive messages from their loved ones. That the place has, it's I call it charged, you called it something else, with this energy. So the energy is heightened. So it's already an environment for the mediums that train there and work there to have more access to this information. So it's like, I feel like you had a big breakthrough in your trance mediumship and as a channel there. And I wanted you to tell me, like, one of the experiences that you had, which was highly evidential. It was so accurate, like even now, it's like the readings that you do, I'm very amazed at the accuracy, because I feel like you are you've developed, like your channel is opened and you've developed really, like you're getting closer and closer to being direct channel. And I just wanted you to share an experience that you had there. So for people that are training, it's like a process. It's a process. It's an opening of yourself as well if you want to do this work.
So for me, it was one of the most life-changing moments. Um, I met so many amazing, gifted, unique, talented, multi-talented people there, mediums, psychics. And one of the readings that I was given through the mediumship was a lady. Uh, as I already mentioned before, that I have a very huge interest in the energies that they are coming from the crystals and minerals.
Which I want to ask you about that too after.
Yes, and so I was given the reading to the lady. This mediumship session was where I basically started to see a small girl and her mother on the kitchen, and that she was taking her doll from her, and she was leaving her alone. And it was very extremely cold mother, and I started to feel in my body that kind of cold, and through the feeling and through the visuals. And when I already had a conversation with the lady from the audience, and I established the connection between her and mother spirit, and I was going deeply into the trance. And in that moment, I had a conversation with the lady. So basically, not me. The spirit had a conversation through me with the lady. And her mother was telling her that I'm terribly sorry for what I've done to you. I'm terribly sorry, and I wish I could hug you right now. And you should always remember that um, I regret everything what I done to you, and I love you, and I hugging you with my wings right now as your angel, and I always will be your angel. And after the session, the lady thanked me for the reading. She was extremely impressed. Everything was extremely accurate, and she had a pendant of one of the crystals that I'm very attached to. That was a labradorite crystal, and so I think also that helped to build the connection between her and the spirit that was there, because I have this connection to that kind of crystal. And that's one of the most interesting mediumship sessions that I experienced. I had a lot of more of them, but that's probably one of the most amazing memories, because here we can see how important is the work of the healers, mediums, and psychics, because they can bring the message that can change life and change the perspective of life, prevent a lot of life events in the future when we change our perspective, and when we get the information from the spirit and the love and everything what we couldn't get before, you know. And that's what how the healing is, how we bring the healing.
Well, that's what I love about it, and that's why I love doing the work as well, and witnessing other like really good mediums doing the work, because the evidence is important, but the purpose is about healing and people being able to release these traumas they never would have before, and just to know, even people lose loved ones, and it's we're the we're the ones that are left, um, and to see that they still go on and life goes on after that. That's like a spiritualist thing as well. It's like, it also gives us evidence that we're just not our physical bodies, and that we're eternal. So I thought that was important to say as well. And I forget the next thing that the crystals. Yes. So you have a connection with labradorite, and would you say it helps you connect to those higher energies, like in trance? Like, I know you were, even when you were there, you're like holding here's a labradorite crystal, and you were going into trance, like with the crystal in your third eye. And you know talk about how crystals hold information, and you can charge crystals, and how they can amplify um, your gifts or certain energies to help you.
That's so many questions.
That's a
So we
lot
have
of
more.
questions.
Yes. So
Okay.
let's start. I would scratch myself. So the first question will be about the labradorite. So every healer, energy healer, and every even person, we have our own minerals and the crystals that they are important for us in our present time, and it can bring us a lot of, I would say, a lot of information, because the crystals, they are very ancient. It's basically the time that is the stays, and when they grow, they hold the time. So we can read a lot from the past in those crystals. All, I would say, also information from the genealogic tree, also from our ancestors line, and we also can have the access to the ancient knowledge, and that's one of the stones of the ancient knowledge, the labradorite. And a lot of the crystals, like for example, like this one, pneumite, it also has that iridescent effect.
You said lumite,
It says it's named pneumite.
pneumite.
Yes. It also one of the stones of the ancient knowledge. So those crystals, they help us to connect to that kind of information that already been lost in the ages, and we can just bring this information in a present lifetime. That can be also very important for the humanity in general. And I started from there. And what was the another question?
Okay, so you kind of were getting there. Um, it's like the frequency of this information
Yes,
is
information.
held in these crystals, this
Yes.
knowledge from past. Um, so one of my things was like, you said like the cards, the oracle cards.
Yes.
They When you're working with them, that information and this spiritual energy, whatever you want to call it, sort of gets infused in the cards. So is
If
it
the
the
healer,
same way with crystals? Like if you work with, your labradorite crystal, that it's going to pick up that information as well and be even more powerful tool for you.
yes, and when the healer and spirit worker creates his own oracle deck, he puts a lot of his own healing energy in that, knowledge from the past generations, and also his own connections to the spirit world that the other healers can use in their practice, as a powerful instrument. So every healer needs to have his own decks that he works with.
And their
And
own crystals and their own
crystal,
tools.
yes, his own tools. And as more you trust yourself, as more you learn about psychic work, as more you meet with the psychics, and uh, you found your own path, that's the most important thing, to follow your own path, and in a spiritual work too. And that can bring a success in all your readings, and the healing work can bring more evidence. And the most important, to feel to bring the need of the spirit, because that's what the most important thing, the need of the spirit. It's actually what we need as a human than what we want.
Yeah. Oh, so you know, oh, this is the question that came up when you were talking. I was thinking about it. I have to. I'm very much in tune with what you're saying. But like, do you feel that it's important, like when somebody is drawn to a crystal, like there's an importance of like you just random, well, nothing's random, but it's like it should call you in some way, and you should really like kind of fall in love with this crystal. You might not know why, and then do you feel that that crystal has information that that person needs in some way, because it holds information, it holds certain energies. So do you feel that
It
people are
holds,
called to them because their soul kind of knows that that crystal has something for them?
if they connected to the spirit, if they feel the energies, if they not just like the stone, just like a dialect, people
It's
like
not like, oh, that's really pretty.
yes, or diamonds forever,
Well,
So yes, uh, like all crystals are important on the earth. And if you really feel that crystal, and you know why you have this crystal, and what the purpose of this crystal uh, on your finger, and what it symbolizes, because every symbol also has a lot of information. It
mhm,
holds the information. And this crystal is then definitely will help in healing, in uh, let's say finding your own. It will show you your path in a different spheres
mhm,
of life
yeah,
also. But if, as many people just read the properties of those healing crystals from the books, it can be different. It's not always accurate. It's very individual, and every healer needs to pick the crystals for every individual individually.
yeah. I mean, how I pick them is is from the feeling. Like I'll go somewhere where there's crystals, and I don't know, I don't have an agenda of what crystal I'm getting or anything like that, and something will just like really grab my attention, like even energetically too, and then I pick it up, and then it's like you get like, whoa, there's something here, like you'll know it. It's not, so like this crystal that I have here, it's also a labradorite sphere. Yes.
Yes.
So when I was drawn to it, and then when I actually held it, this is why I was also, I'm talking about this because the information, it had information in here that was for me. And that's probably like probably needed and I know I did once I got the information, but when I held it, I got a whole vision that really, you know, it was very mystical. I won't go into the whole message, but it was very mystical, and it was something that really helped me in my work. So that's why I still have it. I come back to it, but it there was like it's something that was stored in here that I was supposed to access. So I just wanted to add that because
In my case, I was seeing a lot of crystals for certain reason, and then I started to meet people who actually had those crystals on them.
right,
So
you were seeing like
yes,
certain crystals, like a ring, like
yes,
a ring,
like
like a crystal.
through the clairvoyance, I was seeing that, and then I
And then
started
you
to
met the person that had that.
yes, and it's not only the crystals, it's also like the clothes can be. So that's very interesting because that's all material objects that they hold the information.
Like your books, you're saying the books.
It's the books too.
The
It's,
book too. So yeah, I mean, for me, I just want to kind of like, lean into that a little bit and say that we need to allow ourselves to be more aware of the energy that certain objects hold, and that they're important. And it's like clothing has someone's energetic signature on it. It's like you have to really um, vibe. I hate using that word, but you have to really you know harmonize with the crystal, the object, with or the thing that you have. But when I first saw the crystal, I didn't know why. So people you might not know initially, but then you have to hold it for a while. Like you might look like a weirdos in a crystal shop, like holding a crystal for 5 minutes, but they understand.
certain crystals can increase the psychic abilities
Mhm.
and mediumship and channeling. Other crystals also individually. Other
And some
crystals,
and some don't work for other people, or people are
yes,
not
they
harming
can
them, so they
even
shouldn't use
make
them,
you, they can also make you weak. Yes.
depending on the person. Okay, so I don't even know how long we've been speaking, but it's been a long time. I can talk to you about you know this for days, and sometimes we do talk a lot about this. But I wanted to share a bit of your work um, with other people. I want people to know how to get in contact with you, um, and to get to even just ask you a question or like just to experience your work, because it's very different. And you can what I'm getting at is also it's like, and we're talking about this too, like you said, you got an image of something, you weren't in front of a person, in front of a client, and then you got the crystal, and then the person shows up later. So there's a component to this work. This completely works remotely too. So you have clients like from all over the world that you do through Zoom, that you do readings through Zoom, and they're just as accurate as when you have somebody in person. So I just wanted people to know that you're available, on Zoom online as well.
Yes,
Um,
people also can contact me. Everyone can contact me through the official site, uh, ministryofthediamondlight.com, and through my Instagram page, Psychic Science, and this
but like
page,
psychic underscore science.
yeah, Psychic underscore Science, and
You can't
also
miss him. His pictures are all.
there is a link tree, and this link tree will guide you to the site and with description all the services and about my work with which oracle cards also. I work because I work with I have like a hundreds of the Oracle cards, but right now I work with the uh, 20 decks. Yes, 20 decks, and to bring the important information because every deck, each of the deck, they have different kind of energies, uh, and you can working through those decks, bring the important information to each sphere of the life.
Yeah, before we go, can we just talk about that a little bit? But also, I'm gonna put the information that we're talking about for contacting, him, um, in all the whatever you do online with the notes when we post, this podcast episode. So it will make it easy for you. You don't have to wait. You have to be like, oh my God, he's talking too fast. But anyway, you're talking about the all the different decks that you've worked with and accumulated over the years, and you work with 20 of them, and that they're different and they're for different purposes. So, which is why you work with about 20 of them. So, can you just like quickly kind of explain like certain decks are for certain types of issues or questions people might have, and certain decks are for other things?
So I like to work with the Oracle decks. They have their own unique symbolism, and like a Lenormand, I have a different version of the Lenormand. It's called Malefic Lenormand. It works with the difficulties, with the addictions, with
Challenges
certain,
people have.
yeah, certain type of relationships, and it can show certain kind of energy vibe for the certain topic. And if I'm not getting anything, no information from this deck, it means everything is okay. So
Because it's like you call them dark decks, right?
I call them
Only
dark.
because it's
Yeah,
about challenging,
yeah,
like,
that's what I would say. That's a challenging deck, not a dark deck because it's dark. And I have also the
I don't mean
energy
dark is
card.
bad. I just mean it's like, you know, things that are hidden, like things that we bury, things
Yes,
hidden
yes,
challenges. That's what I mean by dark.
yes, that's absolutely right.
It helps
Um,
bring it to light so you can process it.
yes, I work with the angel cards. I have a lot of angel cards that can bring the message from the angels and spirit guides. I work with the one of my favorite decks is the Los Angeles Tarot. That's also work with the angels and Siren's Melody that I would call the magic deck because it has a very um, extremely strong connection with my energy field and with the artist artwork. And she was creating this deck. She put so much magic in that, and it's a very beautiful deck also. It really can clarify many life events in a client's life.
Yeah, and you use them based on what you're called to for that person and what they need, what
Yes.
needs are. Um, so there's one more thing. I know this is long, 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 long. And I said quick. I said quick. But people that know me. Um, so I'm actually going to end it there. I'm not going to ask because this will be even longer than anyone would probably want to listen to it in one sitting.
Thank you very much, Roberto, for such an amazing conversation. Thanks everyone who was watching me and Roberto.
Yeah, thank you too. Thank you for allowing me to pick your brain about some of this stuff because I really it's such a unique perspective, you know I work with different mentors and amazing ones, and I have to say that your perspective I haven't really seen before or heard about. So it makes me it challenges me to think in a different way outside of all those other perspectives that I know. And it relates and there's overlap.
Also, the technologies that I'm using here and I'm certified in, they are unique. Um, they are first in America, and I always also educating myself, doing research, meeting scientists, sometimes connecting scientists together to do more scientific work. Um, that's my goal. That's my mission here. Uh, Also, I'm doing like a psychic, intuitive healing through the information and messages, but also I'm doing the research.
That's what I was going to ask you about with the cards. It's like, there's the symbols, there's the images and the stuff like that, but you're intuitively tuning into that card and what it means. Like that card could mean a different thing for like to nine different people could mean nine different things.
Yes, yes,
So I wanted to just add that it's, it's not just the cards that the symbol of the card. It's your way of connecting
yes.
and getting the information. So I'm gonna let you go. And just for everybody that's listening, stay tuned. Some of these podcast episodes will be 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Sometimes they'll be longer. It just depends on what happens. We weren't planning on it being this long. And, long is good. Lots of information. So, stay tuned because we're
Thank
going to bring
you.
a lot more subjects, a lot more topics from all kinds of just pretty much experts, like people that work and are continually working in these
Stay tuned.
mystical fields, and I want to bring that to you. I want people to hear things that they might not have heard before. It might shift your perspective a little bit. It might make you think a little bit differently, and it might inspire you. Say, hey, wait, yeah, I got that, but I think that it's more like that, and then you start researching and you start moving forward and you evolve and bring your perspectives out there. So um, we're building a community here, and this podcast is meant for empowerment, to empower people and give them tools. And one tool, is to work with, advisors. And if you want to develop those skills and you feel like it's, you're called to it, then, we train people doing that as well. But you have to find, what's the word? Really like authentic people that are very deeply immersed in the work, because there's a lot, I'm not going to badmouth people, but like, there's levels of people's knowledge and their connection to stuff. So finding someone really reputable is very important, and to always follow your own intuition, because a medium, an advisor or a mentor or like somebody, they can say something but it might not resonate with you, and that's okay too. You can say, okay, well, all these things they said were really accurate. This one thing, I don't know. So just don't like you make your own decisions. That's what I'm saying. It's like we're human.
Well, human,
Everyone's
yes.
human, so you know we can tune in as much as possible, but it's like you have to decide for yourself if this information is right for you. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's the openness I think people should have with this kind of work, and just work with people that are really authentic, and trust your gut. And if someone's saying something negative, if there's like a message there's things that are challenging. I don't mean that they can be brought up, but if there's like some negativity to a message, that if there's fear in there and whatever, spirit never, they don't contact you with
Yeah,
that. That's not.
I always, when I start the reading, I always go in from the lowest to the highest. And that's how it's supposed to be. You always bring in the healing. You need to higher the vibrations of the spirit and in the individual spirit. You know, that's what's important.
So messages, I just want to like assure people that, you know, when it's coming from spirit, because sometimes people can be nervous about getting readings and contacting spirit levels and stuff. And I, you know, there's the higher vibrational stuff that really authentic, reputable psychics, mediums, and other people, you know, tune into is always meant for a positive purpose and for healing. So if it doesn't feel like that, then maybe the message, the messenger, is just not as in tune with those higher energies, that
Can be.
these pure messages of spirit that are positive to come through. I just wanted to let people know that too.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so we're really going to sign off. I'm going to let you go, and thank you again for coming, and thank you, viewers, if you made it to the end to watch this. There's more to come. We have a lot of offerings. We're going to start to community things and online, you know, modernized, more expansive spiritualist gatherings. We're going to do this online so it's more accessible to people. We do it in person. By the way, we're located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. For local people, if you're in the area, you know, and you wanted to do something in person, like for instance, the bioenergy diagnostic technology is something you have to be physically present for. So if you're local or whatever, then come for that. But all of our other services, even energy healing work and stuff like that, we can do remotely as well. But this is, you know, more about you, Volodymyr, and I really appreciate
Thank
the work
you.
that you do and the healthy skepticism and the amount of honesty and truth and authenticity. I think I said that 3 times now, that you have, and that's what I look for in people that are going to be a mentor or an advisor, and I feel that that's important. So I appreciate that very much about you.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
See you all. Bye bye.
Bye.